Local programming on KRWG Public Media made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.
This is KRWG Public Media, TV, radio, online. News that matters. Now, across the Mesilla Valley and the borderland, the stories that shape our community. From the KRWG Broadcast Center at New Mexico State University, this is Newsmakers.
Up front this week, New Mexico is one of 13 states that tax income from Social Security. Recently, the Doña Ana County Board of Commissioners unanimously passed a resolution asking the New Mexico legislature to repeal the state tax on Social Security. And Michael Hernandez was there.
Social Security is a critical form of income for thousands of retired New Mexicans. For some seniors, it's their only source. But New Mexico remains one of 13 states that tax income from Social Security. The Doña Ana County Board of Commissioners passed a resolution asking Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham to add the repeal of the state tax to the 2020 legislative session agenda.
This is my resolution, and I recently learned that the city of Las Cruces has enacted a similar resolution, and I think it would be fitting for the county to follow up.
County Commission Chair Lynn Ellens draws Social Security along with his wife. Ellens cited a letter from Think New Mexico, a Santa Fe-based public policy group that asked the commission to pass the resolution.
Taxing Social Security undermines the purpose of the Social Security program, which was designed to lift seniors out of poverty. Finally, the New Mexico Social Security tax has a negative impact on the state and local economy. If seniors in our community were able to keep the money that they now pay in taxes, much of it would be spent immediately, and those dollars would go right back into the local economy.
The think tank adds that taxing Social Security is double taxation, since residents pay income tax on the money that comes out of their paychecks, and then again when they receive those benefits. How is Social Security income treated in New Mexico? How is Social Security taxed?
Sure, it's taxed like all other income. So whether you get that income from Social Security or from wages, that's going to be considered the same.
Clinton Turner is Tax Policy Director for the New Mexico Taxation and Revenue Department. Personal income tax rates range from 1.7 to 4.9%, depending on the tax bracket. He says those taxes go to the state's general fund. Along with the standard deduction, Turner says taxpayers 65 and older may qualify for other deductions.
So the biggest difference is going to be, what your total income is and whether that gets completely taken care of with the standard deduction or with that additional $8,000 deduction that New Mexico adds on to that to get down to your taxable income.
As a retiree, that's what we rely on. That's what we worked for all those years, and the money coming in is what sustains us.
Yolanda Valenzuela and her husband draw about $2,000 a month in Social Security. The 69-year-old says she feels blessed to have a comfortable income, but realizes thousands of other seniors don't. She says untaxed benefits would help her cover medical expenses.
Well, of course it would help us. It would help with the cost that we have for medications. My husband has heart disease, and so we're at the doctor's quite a bit with him, having tests constantly. So it helps with medication. It helps with the doctor's fees. It would definitely ease the tightness that you experience in just trying to live day to day.
Thousands of seniors in poverty are feeling that tightness. In 2017, New Mexico had the third highest poverty rate for people 65 and older at 12.2%, according to U.S. Census Bureau data. The state's income tax cost the average Social Security recipient $700 a year, according to Think New Mexico. District 3 County Commissioner Allison Reynolds says that number only tells a partial story.
That's probably not the whole picture, because the whole picture is that a lot of our seniors are on such low income and dependent on Social Security to the point where they have to make a decision: do they buy medicine or do they buy food? And when you think about an individual and $700, I mean, you're talking about months worth of food that could actually they could actually afford, or medicine that they could afford with $700 more a year. So that's the impact.
But some critics of a Social Security tax exemption say the loss of tax money would increase reliance on oil and gas revenues. Citing a state analysis by the Legislative Finance Committee, Think New Mexico says repealing the tax would decrease state revenues by $73 million a year. But that number drops to between $21 and $29 million if New Mexico passed a law that exempts low and middle income residents, as other states have done. The group says that decrease represents about 1/3 of 1% of the state's budget. For Reynolds, who also draws Social Security, it's important that seniors get the most from their benefits. While many senior incomes are fixed, Reynolds adds the cost of living is not.
The cost of living keeps going up. The COLA that's actually applied to Social Security doesn't seem to be enough to actually make a difference. And with the increased cost of food, increased cost of medicines, it's imperative, in my opinion, that we actually give some money back or allow the residents that live on Social Security to have all the money they can get.
For KRWG Public Media, I'm Michael Hernandez.
Now to Living Here, a look at the people and places that make our community special. Coming up, we'll visit with local artist Allison Reynolds. But first, Las Cruces is fortunate to have a number of free city museums. Living Here visited one of them, the Branigan Cultural Center.
The building still shows a lot of the original parts of the Branigan Library. If you look at some of the outside windows, you'll see characters from children's stories like Little Bo Peep or Jack Sprat or Mary Had a Little Lamb. So that is immortalized in stained glass on the windows. If you look above the front desk, you're going to see a mural from 1935, which was painted by Tom Lee, who was very famous in this region for his murals. And if you look at the construction of the building, you'll see that this is a Pueblo Revival style building, which was very popular in 1935. My name is Kim Hansen. I'm the museum manager for education here at the Las Cruces Museums. I moved to Las Cruces in 2007 to start working with the museums here. Well, the Branigan Cultural Center, other than the building, doesn't have any permanent installations, but we do house traveling exhibits. We have 3 galleries for traveling exhibits, plus our hallway area. We just took down an installation of World War I memorabilia. That exhibition was by a local collector that we worked with, and his collection included pieces of memorabilia from World War I, including photographs, medals, coins, and other artifacts from World War I to highlight the importance of that conflict. Currently, we are hosting 3 exhibits. One is called 4 Generations, 4 Languages, which is looking at 4 very distinct artists who grew up in different generations and how that impacted their artistic. It's both 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. We have one called Passing Through, which is focusing on transportation and looking behind the scenes at the stuff that you really don't see when you're traveling. And then our 3rd exhibition that's up right now is called Lightning Field, which is a photography exhibit based off of an installation exhibit in northern New Mexico, where it's a whole bunch of lightning rods which attract lightning, and so a photographer went out there and took pictures of this installation. So it's a really cool installation. We've got a very exciting initiative going on. It's called What's Your Las Cruces, or ¿Cuál es tu Las Cruces? And what this is it is a community-sourced history exhibit that we're trying to put together with partnerships within the community. And so what we're doing is we're going out, we're having listening sessions with people, we're meeting with community groups, we're encouraging the public to come in and bring artifacts, bring their stories, and then see what that would look like as an exhibit. Well, the Branigan Cultural Center is located at 501 North Main Street in downtown Las Cruces. The hours that the museum's open is Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and we're free. Our phone number or any contact is area code 575-522-3120. You can also reach us on the website, which is museums.las-cruces.org. Anybody can email us at museums_education@las-cruces.org, or you can reach us on social media at LC Museums. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The museums do offer tours of the galleries. All anybody would have to do is just contact us here at the museum. All tours are free. The building being over 80 years old does give you a physical connection to the history of Las Cruces, but also it's the diversity of the people who come here. The museums are open to anybody who is interested in history, art, culture, science, and we welcome everybody who comes here.
Really warmed up today, so. I grew up all over the place. I was born in El Paso, Texas, but my family moved around all my life. Roughly an average of every 3 to 4 years we would move. So we lived in Arizona, in Texas, we lived in Pennsylvania, and finally up in Canada. Being up in Canada was what started me on my musical path that I'm on today, even. I don't know what would have happened if we hadn't been up in Canada. Canada really supports the arts a lot, and it gave me an opportunity that literally changed my life, so I'm grateful. Train whistle blows when the sun sinks low, the moon starts its path across the sky. It was my turn to enter orchestra. My older sisters, one of them played violin and one of them played viola, and they said, well, you should play cello because then we could have a trio. I didn't even know what a cello was. So I went in, asked for a cello, and they handed me this big old thing, and I went, oh, okay. I continued, I kept playing. My sisters quit. Don't you waste another minute, don't you hesitate, do it now. I enjoy being in my music room here by myself, playing, creating. To me, it's just so much a part of me that if I were to leave it behind, I think a piece of me would be gone. I love it, absolutely love it. Your eyes and hit the ground on the run, do it now. And my writing style has kind of changed over the years. I'm getting more into upbeat. It's hard to peg. Americana, maybe. That's where you put everything when you don't know where to put it. I have a website. It's AllisonReynoldsMusic.com, and I have a lot of music posted as well as some videos, and I have music for sale. And I'm also on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram. What I've taken away from being a musician is that it is a labor of love. It's not for the weak-hearted. You put yourself out there for everyone to scrutinize, from how your hair looks to what your music is like. Songwriters are very, very connected to the songs that we write, and it can be really difficult to bare your soul in front of people and go, oh, you know, you have to think that it really doesn't matter whether they like it or not, that this is you and you are presented it. So you have to be kind of tough too. Don't give up. It can be really tough sometimes. There are times when I've thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This is crazy. I should just, you know, live a normal life but when you love it, you can't stop. And I would tell them just keep going, keep shooting for it. Don't be afraid to change what you're doing. Don't be afraid to change direction. I've done it many times in my illustrious career, and don't be afraid to do that. But keep going, no matter what. Just do it. Waste another minute, don't you hesitate, do it now.
The city of Las Cruces has a list of capital funding priorities, and city leaders will be pushing for some of these ideas to be funded during the 2020 legislative session. In depth, here's Michael Hernandez.
We are here today to present to you the funding request priorities as a work session for you to provide us further direction.
Like most other cities in New Mexico, Las Cruces has significant infrastructure needs. At a recent work session, City Council reviewed a list of $55 million in capital improvement projects to prioritize for the 2020 state legislative session.
And so we had about $12 million that we received in total last year.
Public safety is first on the city's wish list. Grants Administrator Amy Johnson Bassford says the city is seeking nearly $10 million to build a regional training facility for police and fire departments. It would also replace SWAT tactical vehicles and upgrade the communication system to connect law enforcement agencies in the region.
Right now, every law enforcement agency is on a different frequency. This would allow the city's city police department and fire department to talk to any other law enforcement agency in the region, regardless of what frequency they are on. And that is a standard that's been set nationally that every law enforcement agency is to move to.
These projects serve the region, and then also after what we saw unfortunately happen in El Paso in the past several months, we have a definite need in this part of the state.
Voters approved a general obligation bond measure in 2018 to develop a recreational complex in the East Mesa region. Along with upgrading water lines and sewer systems in the area, Bassford says the city is asking for $3.5 million to build a road to the complex.
And so the road that we're requesting funding for would be access to that new complex. We'd like to have it done in cooperation with the construction that is going to go on the complex to achieve, you know, efficiencies and cost effectiveness for the entire project. Additionally, there are a lot of unpaved roads on the east side of the city that need to have drainage projects completed, and then in the future roads.
At nearly $20 million, building projects make up the largest funding request. Bassford says the city owns more than 100 buildings that need to be upgraded over time. That means updates to the Branigan Cultural Center, a new municipal court building and transit facility, police station renovations, and restoring the Amador Hotel. Heather Pollard is president of the Amador Hotel Foundation. She asked the city to prioritize a $2 million request to preserve the city-owned hotel that stood in downtown since the 1870s.
We have to put the floors back in, and we are going to bring the exterior back to its original. We need a new roof. The $2 million will include all of that. If with $2 million we feel we can restore it, have it habitable, and as you know, it is on the south end of Main Street, so it is the gateway to our Main Street, to our downtown, and a huge economic development driver.
We've been doing this for 13 years, and I don't want to betray any ages, but I would really like to be 80 years old and be walking into that restored building.
Parks and Recreation requests total more than $11 million. Some of that money would go to repair soccer fields, volleyball courts, parking lots, and the gazebo at Pioneer Women's Park. Councilor Gabe Vasquez says after meeting with local youth last year, his top goals in District 3 include getting $3 million to renovate the city's skate park and build another.
They talk about the need to have a better space for them to enjoy their skating activities, but also to build community, to be together as Las Cruces and to be proud of the home that they live in. And so it's really important for me to bring a new skate park home to them, considering that cities like Alamogordo and Silver City have better skating facilities than we do. So I think it's time that the youth of Las Cruces get their skate park.
Vasquez also advocated for $1 million project to turn the Villamora Dam area near Madrid Avenue and Treves Drive into a nature park.
The Villamora Dam project is so important. One, because the city already owns the land. Two, because it adds to the public health quality of life components that we have by allowing people to recreate both by walking and running and jogging in the inner city. It also provides access to this natural space that's located within the city, so you don't have to drive out necessarily to the Oregon Mountains, or if you don't have transportation to go out there, you'll have a natural park in the city where you can walk, where you can jog, and you can even bird watch and do it in a natural setting.
Of course, we have to pare it down now, so which is the not so fun part, right, where we all fight to the death for our districts.
For KRWG Public Media, I'm Michael Hernandez.
My name is Miles Choate, and I'm with the Alpha Gamma Rho fraternity, and I'm the float coordinator for this chapter at New Mexico State University. Every year, ASNMSU does a homecoming parade, try to build like the biggest floats, and there's a lot of effort and a lot of time that goes into these floats. We actually just restricted the size as Greek life, so that way it's not a semi-trailer, it's a gooseneck. It takes a certain amount of material and a lot of float hours, probably on the upside of 10-20 hours per person. So this year it's Sweet Home NMSU. ASNMSU set that theme, and then we're just taking it and running with it. Our float, I think, is unique because focused on what makes NMSU special, and to us it's the campus and the mountains and everything like that, so that's what we're trying to focus on, and that's what makes it special to us. I think it's important for the community to know how much effort we put into it. Coordinating people would be the hardest part, because getting everyone here on time and keeping them motivated. Sometimes you get too many people in the same place, and then you get people standing around, and making sure all the coordinators for each chapter are on the same page has probably been the biggest struggle this far.
My name's Olivia. My title is the Campus Activities Director for Alpha Xi Delta, so basically I'm the person in charge of homecoming for our chapter. So when I did homecoming last year for the first time, it was just so much fun and I loved it, and I just wanted to be more involved. So me and Miles and Marco, we all put together our ideas and designed the float, probably about 100 hours a week from every girl and guy from all of our chapters. There's the float portion, and then we perform the dance in 3 different locations during the parade. And so most of the chapters will do that as well. Put a lot of hours in. Since I'm in charge of homecoming, I'm doing like a little bit of everything and just making sure everything's organized. I think it's the fact that we are putting together something that like NMSU students all know and understand and see every day. And so I know that when they see it, knowing the theme is Sweet Home NMSU, the people who are watching the parade are gonna know like what that means to us.
Yesenia, congratulations on being named a top teen.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's start off with some of your school activities.
When I was at Remstein High School, I was a part of their varsity cheer team, and I'm currently a part of Oñate's varsity cheer team. During my junior year, I was part of HOSA, Health Occupation Students of America, where I competed in public speaking, and we took state that year. I've been a part of band my whole high school career, and when I moved from overseas to Las Cruces, I joined Oñate's jazz and marching band, and I love it. And I'm in a lot of advanced placement classes where I recently received my academic letter for my efforts.
All right, well, congratulations on that, and love to hear as well about some of your activities in the community.
So I did a lot of volunteering at USO and Red Cross, and at the USO, I was a part of their largest outreach programs to give back to the families during Christmas. And I also was a part of a group where I helped coordinate the making of care packages for the USO to give to men and women downrange. And at the Red Cross, we did a care package drive where we gave over 180 large boxes to men and women, deployed men and women.
That's wonderful. All right, finally, tell me about some of your plans for the future.
After I graduate from high school, I want to further my education in law and become a lawyer and help with the individuals who are accused of crimes and represent their cases in criminal courts.
All right, well, thanks so much, and again,
Thank you.
Congratulations on being a top teen.
Thank you.
That's our time for now. Join us this week on KRWG Radio. Every weekday, it's Morning Edition 5 to 9, Fresh Air at 11, followed by Here and Now noon to 2, and All Things Considered 4 to 7. KRWG News is always online at krwg.org, and we'd love to hear from you. Email us with your story ideas and video submissions. The address is feedback@nmsu.edu. For all of us at KRWG News, I'm Fred Martino. Have a great week. We'll see you next time on Newsmakers.